Thanks for joining us here at Functional Bliss, where Audra and Jessica will guide you through exercises and wellness techniques to help you live your best life every day. It's in the name, after all, Functional Bliss. Before you do anything else, click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know whenever we put up a new video. To join our Blissful Gang for live Zoom classes where you can get more direct suggestions and encouragement, go to our website and sign up. Check the class description below for any equipment needs, grab your gear, and let's get started.
Going belly down. I'll readjust my microphone as we go just to make sure that you don't lose me. But come down onto your belly. Knees are going to be bent. Your head is going to rest either on your stacked hands or your head is just going to rest wherever it feels the most comfortable. And in this prone position, we're going to start to windshield wiper the knees. So we're just going to swish it back and forth. But if you get here and this is a position that doesn't feel good to your back, to your spine, or to your neck, flip over onto your backside, do your windshield wipers on your back. So either way, find the position that makes the most sense to you. And then once you're there, all you got to do is tune in. Notice, how's your back feeling? How do your thighs feel? Because as you do this move here, you may feel a little bit of a kind of a massaging action of your thigh muscles against the floor. How does your head and neck feel? Can you relax your head and let it rest on your hands? I keep my head lifted just so I can talk and look over at the screen, but you can let your head rest down. Take a couple of nice deep breaths, swish your feet from side to side. Good morning, Melinda. Melinda, we need our light and heavy hand weights and our looping resistance band this morning. All right, we've got 20 seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, now we're pushing up to a tabletop position. So take your time as you come up to your tabletop position. And then once you're in tabletop, we're going to take it first 20 seconds. We're just going to go for a regular old-fashioned cat-cow. So drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail, round your back, round your shoulders, tuck your chin into your chest. And then when we do our cat-cows, you keep your cat-cows going. And I'm going to just talk for a few minutes as you keep going. If you are dealing with osteo-stuff, osteopenia or osteoporosis, when you do your cat-cows, think of your cat-cow as a super strong cat-cow, and you're not going for super bendy, lots of flex, lots of movement of the spine. Think about using the muscles that run along the spine. So you're not going for big, generous movement of flexibility. Go for nice, slow, controlled, strong movement. And you may also choose to think about lengthening. So if you're working on that osteo stuff, think about reaching your tailbone and the crown of your head away from each other to create length, and then use the strength of your muscles. All right, now for these last 10 seconds, curl your toes under and then rock yourself forward and back. Just find a little bit of movement with your knees, a little bit of stress in your toes. Take one or two more rocks forward and back. And then the next time you come forward into your tabletop position, we're going to step one leg out to the side. Toes and knees are going to be pointing forward. And now we're going to do a mild rock forward and back. So we're not trying to go like butt way back to the heels. We're trying to find a little bit of stress in the inner thigh. So keep your outer leg, the leg that's sent out to the side, keep it planted on the ground. Keep your toes and knees pointing forward. We're going 30 seconds, one leg, 30 seconds, the other leg. As you move forward and back, notice that sticky point where you feel that little bit of stress in the inner thigh. Go just to that point and then come right back up to your table. Ten more seconds on this side. All right, when you're ready, step that leg in, step your other leg out. Now, same thing on this side. The toe and the knee are pointing forward. We're rocking forward and back, but we're not going for big, like pulling the butt all the way back as far as you can go. Think about just finding that stress at the inner thigh or the groin and then coming back to table. That's the point that we're looking for. You pause there for a second and then move right away from it. We got 10 more seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, bring it in. We're coming into a knee down push-up position. So we're going to come into that low plank position or a planking position, but with the knees down. Walk your hands out nice and wide, and then we're going to go elbows wide, lower into a push-up, and then in that upper push-up position, do a shoulder tap, wide hands, lower down into your push-up position, come back up. So in between each push-up, we're doing a shoulder tap. Go nice and slow here and focus on that little transfer of weight. So in your upper position, as you go for that shoulder tap, give yourself that pause for a moment as you transfer your weight and then pick up your hand. Stabilize your center so that when you do the shoulder tap, there's not a big wobble. It's kind of a controlled position, shoulder tap to one side, shoulder tap to the other side, reset in the center, lower with control. Yes, you guys look amazing. Nice job. 30 seconds left. Ten more seconds. Nice, slow, steady work here. Doesn't need to be fast for it to be good. Okay, now the next time you come to that push-up, we're going to come all the way down to the ground, come down onto your belly, and then we're moving into our next position. So we're going to float our feet out so that there's a little bit of reach through the toes. Hands are going to come alongside the back of the body. Your forehead's going to touch down to the ground, and then you're going to lift your legs and lift your hands. So everything's going to lift up and squeeze, and then float that all back down. And that's the work we're going to do. We got 1 minute on the clock. You're going to lift up and lower down at the depth that makes the most sense to you. It is not going to look the same on every body. So don't look for big height, look for control. Lift your legs. You want to feel like your butt's squeezing, backs of the legs are squeezing, muscles in the back are squeezing. Lower with control. And then just come right back up. Now you can take that pause in between if you like that complete reduction of effort, so you can find that big differentiation, or you can just keep moving. Lower down, come right to the point where you stop, and then lift yourself right back up. So find the process of work that makes the most sense to you this morning, how fast or slow you go, what feels really good to your body. 15 seconds left. Beautiful. You guys look amazing. Nice job. Okay, last bit of this on this prone position. So now we're going to bring our arms so that they're in a bit of a W shape. And now we're going to go for scorpion twist. So it's a mobility drill. You're going to pick up your left leg. You're going to push your foot up towards the ceiling and then roll that foot over to the right. But we want to keep our arms nice and wide so you'll feel like there's a little bit of work happening to create some mobility in your shoulders. And then you're going to move to the other side. You're going to pick your right leg up, push it up towards the ceiling, and then roll it over to the left. So we're going to alternate between the two sides, arms nice and wide in a nice wide position or a W shape. Roll to one side, touch your foot to the ground, or just as far as it will go, come through center, take it over to the other side. We got 1 minute on the clock. This is a mobility drill, so you want to go a little bit slow so you can just kind of tune in and notice, how does your body feel when you do this work? What's your range of motion like in your chest and your shoulders? What's the range of motion like in your back and your legs? There's no right or wrong, but just go slow so that you can find some good work. Yes, beautiful. Twenty seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, now we're coming back up to our tabletop position. From here, it's going to be 30 seconds one leg, 30 seconds the other leg. For my yoga friends, you'll think of this as your tiger position, but we're going to do that little press. So we're going to keep that nice 90-degree bend with the leg. You're pressing your foot up towards the ceiling and lifting your head up just a little bit. What we want to achieve is feel like the muscles in your back get really kicked on as you try to push your head and your heel up towards the sky. We got 30 seconds on this side. Your position will look like your position. It doesn't matter how high you kick that foot up, but we want to feel like the butt muscles are working, muscles along the spine are working. Push your foot up towards the ceiling, lift your head a little bit, and then lower your knee just back to hip height. Beautiful. 10 seconds left on this leg. All right, when you're ready, lower that leg down, switch it right to the other side. Left leg comes up, nice 90-degree bend, flex your foot a little bit, push your heel up, push your head up, and then release it back down. Ten seconds left. And time. Beautiful. Okay, lower that knee. Now we're flipping it over to one side. We're going to go 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other side. So set yourself up like you're going for a bent knee side plank position. But if you can, arrange it so that this standing arm is in a tall position. So we want to feel like there's a little bit of stretch through the side of the ribs. And then we're going to go big lift. So we're going to lift the hips up. That top hand is going to lift, and you're going to try to create a little side bend as you come up into that side plank, and then lower it down with control. Push into that arm so you feel a little stress through the side of the body. We got 30 seconds on this side. Go for a little bit of pause in the spaces. So pause at that end with the stretch, lift up, see if you can pause at the top and find that little bit of reach, and then lower it down with control. Nice job. If you need a little bit more here, you can grab a hand weight in that upper hand to create a little bit of resistance, but you can still find plenty of good work without adding that hand weight. 5 seconds left on this side. All right, when you're ready, we're going to flip it over and around to the other side. I'm flipping around so I'm facing out, but you flip yourself around in the way that makes the most sense to you. Find that bent knee position. Standing arm is tall if you can allow it to be. And then we sink the ribs down, pick that top hand up, lift the ribs away from the earth, reach, reach, reach through that top hand, and then lower it back down with control. We got 30 seconds on this side. Take this side at your pace. One side might feel different from the other, so you always want to make sure that you are mindful of your shoulders and just find the work on your side that makes the most sense here. Three seconds left. All right, and that's time. Now we're going to take it back to that planking position, and then we're going to go to a backwards caterpillar, and then at the end of the mat. So this is where we want our hand weights at the end of our mat. So find your planking position. We're going to walk back. So our hands are going to walk back towards our feet. At the back end of your mat, your weights should be off to one side. So you're going to grab your weights off to one side, come up like you're going for a little bit of a deadlift, and then bring your weights over to the other side, set them down. We're walking back out to that plank position. Find that plank, walk your hands back towards your feet, and then we're going to pick up the weights from the other side. So think deadlift, push into your feet, come up. Deadlift, think push down to come down to the other side. And then once you've put those weights down, walk it back out to your plank position, pause in your plank, and then back to that caterpillar, just walking back towards the feet. So we're going to alternate between the two. You'll pick up your weights from one side, put them down on the other side, walk back out to your plank position, and then back to that folded position, pick up your weights. You've got it. Nice job. You're already halfway there. Okay, now the next time you come to the back end of your mat and grab your hand weights, stay there, and we're going to stay in that upright position, but we do come back down to the ground today, just as a little variation of how we position ourselves. So grab your hand weights, and now it's going to be an offloaded bent over row. For 30 seconds, we'll have one hand loaded. For 30 seconds, we'll have the other hand loaded. So load up as much as you can in that single hand, bend over. We're going to go narrow row, wide row. So we're going to alternate between the two, but one hand is loaded, one hand is empty, and then at the 30-second point, we'll pass the weight over to the other side. So alternate between the two. Find that narrow row, elbows scrape along the ribs, and then that wide row, elbows come out to the side. You've got it. A slight sense of firmness in your belly so your back feels nice and supported. Beautiful. Ten more seconds with this arm loaded. All right, when you're ready, switch your hands, load up the other hand, and then away we go. Narrow row into that wide row, but the other hand is now empty. You got it. Nice job. Ten seconds left. And time. Beautiful. Okay, push firm into your feet to rise up. We're going to grab our looping resistance band. And now we're going to take it into some backwards only monster walks. So you're going to take your looping resistance band. You'll either do it around your ankles or around your calves. That's just kind of like, where does it stay comfortably? Where do you get good resistance? But we're going to be walking ourselves backwards. So get yourself positioned. And then we're going to do that little bit of a diagonal walk in a low squatted position. So you're going to push your foot back at an angle, step the other foot into meet, push your other foot back. And then once you come to the end of your mat, just turn yourself around and then do it again. Step at a diagonal pattern, keep that low squatted position. Think about pushing your heel back to find that drive. And then if that's not quite enough work for you, grab your hand weights, load up at your shoulders, stay loaded the whole time. But the big work is in that push back. So we want to find that backward stepping position. Once you come to the end of your mat, turn yourself around carefully and then right back to that walking. Nice job. You're already halfway there. Five seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, kick that looping resistance band out from around your legs or your feet. Now we're going to use it in our arms. The next bit of work that we're going to do, we're going to go into a little bit of a horse stance or a squatting stance, and we're going to do our bow and arrow pulls. So we're going to alternate between the two sides. But when you do this work, I want you to focus on the front hand wrist. And you're going to imagine that your wrist has a slight downward curve, like a little drop of water could draw from your wrist down to your knuckles. So when we do our bow and arrow pull, we want to keep that wrist in a nice, steady, stable position. We don't want it buckling out. We don't want it buckling in. So we want to keep it nice and strong. So think about that being your focus, keeping that front wrist braced. Find your horse stance, pull back to your ear, release with control, switch to the other side, release with control. Watch that front wrist. That's your focus for this morning, to just pay attention as you pull. Watch that front hand. You can even keep your eyes on it. Eyes on the prize, watch that wrist. It's not going to buckle. Nice job. Works the grip, works the wrist, works the shoulder, works the back of the body. Legs are nice and strong. You're already halfway there. And time. Beautiful. Okay, release your arms, come out of that horse stance, give your legs a little shake. Next up, now if you have balance stuff, or if rapid eye movement creates a little bit of a like wobbliness for you. Position yourself just kind of near a handhold so that you have the security that you might need. We're going to go into a lunging position. We're going to do 15 seconds of work one way, 15 seconds the other way, and then we'll switch our legs. So we're going to find our lunge position. We're going to keep our thumbs out in front of us. This is a little bit for the brain, a little bit for the eyes. So eyes in front, you're going to keep your thumbs out. Eyes are going to stay focused on a single point. You're going to keep your eyes focused on that point. You're going to start to turn your head from side to side. You're keeping your thumbs out so that they're in your peripheral vision, but you're not trying to look to your thumbs. You're trying to keep your eyeballs focused forward. So we hold that lunge, keep your eyes focused, turn your head from side to side. At 15 seconds, we're going to switch the work that's happening with our eyes. So keep your eyes focused forward, turn your head side to side, keep those thumbs out in front of you, firm up your center, keep your legs nice and solid. All right, now, head is going to stay in a stable position. Now you're going to rapidly look your eyes from thumb to thumb. Head's going to stay stable. Eyes are going to look left and right as fast as you can without losing your steady stance. All right, when you're ready, we're going to switch the lunging position. Keep your thumbs forward, come back to your eyes, focus on that single point in front of you, and start to turn your head again. Stabilize your legs, firm up your belly, keep nice and solid in your form. All right, now head stays focused, eyes look rapidly from thumb to thumb. Go for about 3 more from thumb to thumb. And then when you're ready, step that foot in, give everything a good shake. Grab the heaviest weights you've got. We're going to go from a squat to an overhead press. So feet about hip width distance apart, maybe a slight turnout with those feet. Load up at your shoulders. Go butt back, bend your knees into your squat, and then give it an overhead press. Go as fast or as slow as you want here this morning. We don't have any speed rounds today, but we are working pretty much every part of the body that I can imagine up. So sink into your nice good squat. How deep you go into that squat, what feels good to your body this morning? How do your knees feel? How do your ankles feel? How do your hips feel? How does your back feel? Nice job. "15 seconds left. And time. Okay, hang on to those weights. Come right down onto a seated position. We're going to go into a sit-up and a press. So we're going to hold on to those weights. Come down into your seated position. All the way back. Exhale to come up. Press out in front of you. Bring it back to the shoulders. All the way down to the ground. Come into your sit-up. Press out in front of you. Only 30 seconds of work here. Go as fast or as slow as you like. Allow yourself to use that exhale to come up. Press out. Inhale as you lower down. Three more seconds. And time. Nicely done. Okay, now grab your looping resistance band. We're going to take the looping resistance band, put it all the way up over the knee joint. So we're going to go past the knee joint so it's around the thighs. And I will say this, sometimes the looping resistance band gets a little wiggly, gets a little out of place. If it becomes more annoying than offers good work, kick it off, let it go, just find the work. But if you can keep it there, we're going to come down onto our back. We're going into a butterfly position, and we're going to try to keep that little bit of outward resistance. Elbows alongside the ribs, lift your hips up, lower them down. So it's a butterfly hip bridge, but with that little bit of resistance around the thighs to try to find that position where we can keep our legs slightly active, pressing the feet in towards each other, but the legs don't buckle in and they don't collapse out. We got 1 minute on the clock. Take the work at your pace. Come up and down at the depth that makes the most sense to you. As you come up to the top, find that nice good squeeze of your butt muscles, lower back down with control. Now we did some big work. We did some squats. We did a little bit of caterpillar work. Your breath may have come up just a little bit, but now that we're doing this slightly slower work, can you bring that breath back in so you're breathing in and out through your nose best you can? Five seconds left. And time, nicely done. Okay, sit yourself up just enough. We're gonna move that looping resistance band down a little bit. So now, and you'll choose whether or not you want it around your calves or around your ankles. So you'll feel where the work is coming from, and then you'll choose what feels the best to you. We're coming back down into a dead bug position. Arms are either gonna be straight out from the chest, or you're gonna take your two fists and put them right between your knees to be a little bit of a buffer. So what's gonna happen is we're going to kick one foot out to the side and then the other. So we're going to alternate between the two. Use your looping resistance band to create that little bit of tension. If you have it around your calves and that doesn't give you just enough work, move it down around your ankles and that will create just a little bit of extra work for you there. So find the depth of work that feels good. Hands between the knees if you want that little bit of handheld position so you really keep that good integrity. One foot externally rotates and then the other. Or I should say it's the thigh that's internally rotating is really what's going on here. Beautiful form, you guys. That looks awesome. Excellent work. Nice job. "12 seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, if you can, keep that looping resistance band around your legs. We're going to keep this dead bug shape, but now we're going to add a little bit of arm circles and some crunches. So arms are going to swim up and overhead, do a big circle around, scoop up like you're doing a little crunch. And then as you raise your arms back up, you release that crunch, swim the arms around, scoop up, get a little bit of a crunch, arms circle up as you lower down. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Take the work at your pace. Go for that crunch, and even maybe right at the top of that crunch, hold it just for a second to feel that good contraction of the abdominal muscles. If that looping resistance band creates any problems, feel free to kick it off. I like that exhale as I crunch up and the inhale as my arms reach up and overhead, but you breathe in the pattern that makes the most sense to you. Ten seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, if you've got the looping resistance band still around that bottom half of your legs, move it up just a little bit so it's still under the knee joint, but getting close to where the top of the calf meets the knee joint. Set your feet down, and then we're going to walk them out just slightly wide. So we're going to go for a wide hip bridge here. So the toes are slightly turned out, and then you've got that resistance from the band. We're going to avoid letting the knees drop in towards each other. So we're going to keep the inner thighs steady and active. Lift your hips up and don't think about going for big height. So you're not trying to like pick your butt up as high as you can. Think about lifting up, but keeping the backs of your ribs caged down and keeping the knees from collapsing in towards each other, and then lower your butt down with control. If you need just a little bit more work here, because this is just not enough for everybody, you may choose now to keep your hand weights in your hands, keep them up above your head, lift up, give a little squeeze of your butt, lower with control. You may have plenty of work already happening with just the resistance band, or even without it. You may have plenty just going on with just the bridge. So go for the depth of work that makes the most sense to you this morning. If you like that breath work, you're going to exhale as you lift your butt up and squeeze, and you'll inhale as you lower down. And time. Nice job. Okay, pull your knees towards your chest. Move that looping resistance band out from around your legs. We're going to stay in this laying down position, but now we're going to go from star shape or starfish shape into a little ball. So arms and legs out as wide as you can let them go, and then pull your knees in, curl into a little ball, give a little tuck and squeeze. Legs and arms go out nice and long. Pull into a little ball, give a little tuck and squeeze. Now, as you go through this movement here, notice how your back feels. Go as slow as you can so that you're in control the whole way. So we want to almost feel like your core or your abdominal muscles is what's pulling those knees in towards your chest. Come into a little tight ball squeeze, and then same amount of control as you extend the arms and legs out and away from each other. So think about drawing from your center, pull everything into your center. Keep your center strong as you move everything out and away. Beautiful. And time. Nicely done. Okay, the next time you extend out into that starfish shape, stay there. Take a big yawning stretch. So for my yoga friends, think big good morning stretch. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. This is called pandiculation. So we do want to be able to learn to create that nice bit of length and reach and stretch through our body. So reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. Take a nice big inhalation. And then as you exhale, let everything soften just a little bit. We're going to pull the right knee in towards the chest. Let your left leg stay nice and long. And then we're going to take it into a little supine twist. So take your right knee over to the left, just as far as it goes where it feels good. You want to feel like you're twisting in your spine just a little bit. Try to keep your right shoulder anchored to the ground and try to turn your head to the right if you can. Take one more breath. Pull your right knee towards your chest. Bring your left knee into me. And now we're going to hold on to the left leg. Right leg is going to go nice and long. And now we're going to take that twist over to the other side. So left knee is going to go over to the right. Try to keep your left shoulder anchored to the ground, and then try to turn your head to the left if you can. Awesome. And then when you're ready, pull the left knee into your chest, bring the right knee into meet. Both knees come in for one last little squeeze, and then we're going to rock and roll our way up. And then once you've rock and rolled your way up to a seated position, send your legs out in front of you, but keep a little space. So step your feet slightly wide, keep your knees super bent, take a big breath, reach up and overhead. And then we're going to think up and over with the belly, up and over with the chest, reach down towards your feet. It does not matter if you could touch your feet. Keep your knees as bent as you like. We want to feel like we're stretching the low back just a little bit here. So find that fold. And then once you're there, just take 3 nice big breaths. Nice. When you're ready, slowly walk yourself out of that fold. We're going to spin our legs out to one side, come around into tabletop position. Once we're in our tabletop position, we're going to take it into our puppy pose or heart melting pose. So you're going to keep your hips fairly in line with your knees. You're going to walk your hands forward. For some of us, it feels good to walk the hands wide. For some of us, it'll feel better to walk your hands a little bit closer towards your ears. So play around with what shape feels good to your shoulders. I personally like a wide position for my arms and shoulders. And then once you've got a good position for your arms and shoulders, that feels like a nice sensation. Let your chest sink down towards the ground. Let your forehead sink down towards the ground. Wonderful. When you're ready, slowly walk back up to tabletop position, curl your toes under. We're just going to lift the butt up, coming up through a downward dog-like shape, and then walk your feet towards your hands towards your feet. So you find a soft folded position. Once you've got your soft folded position, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, take your time as you roll your way up to standing. And then once you come all the way up, give your shoulders a couple of good shrugs. You guys are amazing. Nice job today. Grab your stick and your toe band if you're sticking around. We got some work to do today.